By close of day Wednesday, 7th May 2025, any of you still fails to declare your assets, count yourself automatically dismissed.
This is John Mahama, the President of Ghana, urging his cabinet member, all the appointed cabinet member, to declare their assets as he took office in January of this 2025. He's not exempted, him inclusive, has to declare his own assets. This is the change that Ghana needs, and in fact, almost all African countries need. Though before now, Ghana has this in their constitution, but how many of the former Ghanaian leaders did it? Even when it is done, kept from public access. And you know, this will help to fight corruption. This is an example of what a true leadership is, like showing the whole public, not being afraid, not being scared, or not being intimidated by showing the public what you have. So you don't get into the office, then when you leave the office, you become the president or the king of the world. These are some of the things that most African governments are lacking. Individual African country governments are lacking. They don't want to be so transparent to the point that people will hold them accountable.
The assets declaration regime is an important mechanism to check corruption and abuse of office, and it must be respected by all.
John Mahama, during his first tenure in Ghana as the president, has always called for asset declaration. The man did not stop there. He called, as they attended the AU summit, he called on African leaders who have been avoiding this kind of topic to make their assets publicly known. Declaration of assets matters because it will help to expose those who want to use government office to steal funds. The countries in Africa implement this, starting with the president or the ministers, whoever that is the first declaring his assets. It will change the way politics is run in Africa, how governments or government systems are run in Africa. Many African countries rank high in corruption indices. Millions can just vanish overnight. We've seen the case of that happening in Nigeria where money was swallowed by a snake and nobody will be held responsible. So Mahama's calls goes beyond Ghana. It's reaching out to other parts of Africa, telling African governments that this is a way to go. This is a very wonderful blueprint for African governments to follow. When leaders declare their assets...
Let me assure you that these sanctions are not cosmetic, they'll be enforced. And I will not hesitate to act firmly and decisively, no matter who is involved.
So moving on to Botswana, where the new leadership of the opposition coalition party, known as Umbrella for Democratic Change, swept into power President Duma Boko on October 2024. A country in the southern part of Africa, rich in diamonds, very, very stable, a shining example of stability and growth as far as democracy in Africa is concerned. So nearly half of Botswana's cabinet members, at least 8 of the 18 member ministers, are under 50 years old. This shows President Duma Boko's deliberate steps to work with young leaders who matches the hopes and the energies of the awakening Africa and Africa's youth quest to be part of their government. It's youthful, highly skilled individuals who are below the age of 50 to support or to help in the government of the day in Botswana. This is something that needs to be done more often in Africa. This is 21st century. With young minds being in government, there will be more productivity, there will be more inclusivity, there will be more for the youth, more youth empowerment, more youth representation in Africa. Not like the normal way it used to happen in African countries, where old folks who should be retiring are in the helm of affairs. Botswana's Duma Boko, as he promised national renewal, he started first with youth. So for many Botswanas, it wasn't just victory. It was historic. Since 1966, Botswana has been ruled by a particular political party called the Botswana Democratic Party. But things changed in 2024 when the opposition coalition party, known as Umbrella for Democratic Change, swept into power Duma Boko. In 2024, they chose change. A change that the people chose that came with new names and new faces. So this is Lesego Chombo, the youngest minister in Botswana's Duma Boko cabinet. She's just 27 and the Minister of Youth. She's the current Miss World. And this is Jacob Kelebeng, 35 years old sports minister. And next is Dr. Stephen Modise, a 37-year-old medical doctor as Botswana's health minister. And next is the Minister of Minerals and Energy, Bogolokene Wondo. She's 37 years, an international economist. The list continues. This is Kaifele Moshegwa. He's 40 years old, the Minister for Local Governments and Tradition. and 44-year-old Minister of Foreign Affairs, Faino Butela Nuasalake, 47-year-old Minister of Infrastructures. The list continues. This is David Shere, the Minister of Communications and Innovation, at 48, a degree holder of biomedical. This is what it means when Duma Boko says he's going to bring in national renewal, involving the youths to be part of the governance of the day in Botswana. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. I think Africa should include more youths into the affairs of the country, to bring in more resetting, to bring in more ideas to help promote their countries. So drop your comments in the comment section. Well, I enjoin you to subscribe, because here we talk about things concerning Africa, or things I find interesting about Africa. You have to share Africa to the world, to share our own version of the story, how Africa is thriving through these times. So see you on the next one.